Later today, Google is expected to announce its expansion into a new arena, social networking. Nick Thompson with us here in the newsroom, senior editor at Wired magazine and Bloomberg contributing editor. So, Nick, at one point in time, Google and Facebook had two very different visions, right? And two sort of very different ways of operating. And now it seems like Google wants to borrow a little from Facebook, but Facebook also wants to borrow a little from Google. So we're going to see, I don't know, a big showdown at high noon somewhere?
Well, that's exactly right. The way it used to work is that Facebook was trying to build sort of a second internet, an internet where you would be connected to your friends at all times. Everything happened within Facebook. From Facebook, you could only email people within Facebook. It was like an island.
Well, it's a closed, yeah, exactly, a closed world.
Right, and they thought this is the better way to surf the internet. You're surrounded by your friends, it's better. Google had all these algorithms. It was this cold mathematical way of going around the internet. But now Facebook is saying, wait a second. We want to be the center of the web for everybody, so let's build in some things from Google. Let's build an email system that's like Gmail. And Google is saying, wait a second, this social networking thing where you're connected to your friends, that's really helpful. So they're building social search. So your search results will be connected to what your friends have searched for. And now into Gmail, they're going to have status updates and video and picture sharing of some sort. We'll know later on today.
So it's kind of like the rabbit leaving one station in the train, leaving the other. Remember fifth grade math? You have to calculate when when do they both arrive? When do they both crash? When do we see a fight? That's what we want, Nick.
Well, we're not going to see a fight immediately because Google is going to have these status updates in Gmail. That's not going to be a real threat to the status updates in Facebook and Twitter. Those things are so huge and so important to so many people that it's not going to be a clash right now, but they're definitely heading in the same direction. And there are going to be acquisitions coming up where Google's going to bid and Facebook's going to bid, and you're going to see more direct conflict in the future for sure.
When you say acquisitions, what kind of companies are we talking about? What do you think both would be interested in?
Well, they both could, for example, bid whatever the next big thing is on how we use the internet, right? Remember, both of them want to be where you start to do everything you do. So who knows exactly what the next thing is going to be, whether it's going to be some kind of updating or something like some kind of incredible photo sharing capability that somebody else builds. And both of them may say, hey, wait a second, we want to be the center for photo sharing. Let's buy that company. And Google will say, we'll pay this, and Facebook will say, we'll pay this.
Now, obviously, both of these are apart from Twitter. We're just trying to think of all the ways you can kind of communicate and stay in touch with your friends, even sometimes your colleagues.
Right.
So none of this really affects Twitter right now.
Well, it is, actually. I mean, Facebook, it does affect Twitter in that both companies are trying to become a place where you go for status updates and short updates. Both of them probably can't defeat Twitter. What will be interesting to see today with this Gmail announcement is whether what they do is allow you just to have updates from your friends in Gmail, or whether they try to become more like TweetDeck or Seismic, where they have updates from all social networking sites. So you would log into Gmail to read your Twitter feed, your Facebook feed, your Gmail feed, your LinkedIn feed. I think probably they're going to try to do that, in which case they're not only competing with Facebook somewhat, Twitter somewhat, but also with the aggregators like TweetDeck.
All right, and we've seen some models of some of these hybrids work in other countries. I know you talked a lot about Brazil. You've seen what's most likely to work best here now?
Well, Brazil is a very interesting case because Google actually built a social network, has a social networking site called Orkut, which is a huge success in Brazil and a failure here. So they tried to directly take on Facebook in the United States, and it didn't work. What is likely to work here is going to be expansions outward from what we already have. People are going to stay in Facebook. They're going to stay in Google. Those services are going to get bigger. They're going to get broader. They're going to get more exciting. One of them will become, one of them will probably gain vis-a-vis the other over the next little while.
All right, Nick, now we know you're a betting man. If you had to bet on the success, go ahead, pick one. Who's going to do this better, Facebook or Google, in the new order?
I think Facebook is going to do better. With the social stuff, Facebook is going to do better. They do a really good job with that. When it comes to search, which is Google's core business, Google's going to do better. And also remember, Google doesn't have to really succeed at this particular thing for it to be worth it. If they get people to spend 10% more time staring at their Gmail, as their Gmail, instead of beeping every minute when you get a new email, beeps every 2 seconds when you get a status update, they'll be able to sell you more ads. So it will still be Google.
It's still a win. Nick Thompson, thanks for coming in very much. Nick Thompson from Wired magazine and a Bloomberg contributing editor.